Hello, my peoples. Welcome to the Michelle Files. I am Michelle Files, and today I want to talk a little bit about having hope when it hurts. Because, that's when we need hope the most, right? When we're hurting. So, quick backstory here. This week, well, maybe quick confession then backstory. This week has been kind of a tough week for me. I've been really stressed, feeling overwhelmed. Honestly, I should not even be taking this time to do this video, but you know what? It's something I need to do. It's on my heart, and I have faith that once I've done this and get done, I will be able to focus more clearly on the other parts of the things that I need to do for my work and for my class, my homework. For the classes I teach and the classes I take. So here's the thing. This week I've been really stressed, really overwhelmed, and really sad yesterday especially. And just feeling very defeated, like how am I going to do all of this? And having these feelings that, this feels like the same old, same old. These feelings that this is just another beginning to another tough time in my life. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't have psychic abilities. So I'm pretty sure I'm not necessarily on point with that, but that's what my feelings are saying, right? So while our feelings are not inherently bad, we have to use our feelings with our brain and all the other things, right? We can't just rely on our feelings. So, anyhow, I start to think about, why do I feel this way? Because, I used to love back to school season. Back to school season was my jam. I loved it. I loved everything about going back to school. I loved knowing I was going to see my friends. I loved knowing that I was going to learn new things. And I was so excited to go to, the aisle to buy office supplies and buy my new notebook and buy my new pens and my little sticky notes and all the fun office things, especially that planner, right? Y'all, I just want to let you know, I bought a 2020 planner and I had to take that thing back to Target because when I opened it up, all the months were shuffled out of alignment. Now, I really should have taken that as an omen, but, I know now, hindsight is 2020. So, anyhow, loved it, right? So then I started to think, when did I stop loving it? And then I instantly went to last year, and I started thinking about, this feels just like last year. And in my head, I'm going, come on, girl, this is not the same as last year. This is different. But see, last year, I was exhausted. I had, didn't really get much of a break. I was really tired. And I was getting ready to move into the fall semester of teaching. And on top of that, I had to start my doctorate classes. And I was stressed out because it was taking me so much time to prep and teach my classes, like that work. And I had no idea how I was going to fit in these doctorate classes that were supposed to take me an additional 10 to 20 hours a week on top of my job and manage to have time with my family and friends. Also, I was starting the year coming off of another loss because my grandma had passed away, and she was one of the most influential women in my life. And so here I was starting a semester with the grief left over from that and just that real deep recognition of what loss means. And I will say, after Chris passed away, my late husband, after losing him, I experienced loss on a whole different level than I ever have. And things that might be minor losses, I have to be really aware of. They trigger things in me, and they trigger pains and hurts from back then that I have to be aware of. Otherwise, they get out of control and kind of take over my whole being, right? And in being aware of it, then I can do the things that make me feel better. You know, I can focus on taking care of myself and working through those feelings. Anyhow, so last semester, rolling into all this stuff, and I start thinking, oh my gosh, like this is just going to be just like last year. Like I'm going to have all these things I have to do. I'm going to have all this additional work. I'm going to have like my classes that I need to keep up with for my own personal, like as a student. And I've got to take care of my students. And how in the world am I going to do this? And I'm not going to have any time to do anything I want to do. Not going to have any time for myself. Not going to have any time to do anything fun. I am just waiting for December again. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be constantly waiting for December. And that's what it feels like. Like, I can tell you, I was talking to my friends the other day, I was like, I feel like I'm always waiting for December, and I don't want to do that. Like, that's not healthy, because there are months between now and December that I want to be fully present in. And then I thought, well, with my brain, it's up here, I thought, all right, feelings, you need to pump the brakes. Because this is different. Before, you were never home. Now you're always home. So you're going to be teaching from home. That's different. Secondly, and of course that comes with its own sets of challenges. Don't get me wrong. I am like a little bit concerned about my internet stability and the Wi-Fi, and yeah, there's that. Anyhow, so I'm like, this is going to be different. This is different. You're not taking doctorate classes in a subject matter that you don't want to do. You're taking master's classes in a subject matter that truly interests you and grows you, and also with a group of fellow students who are amazing. So this is different. Yes, you're going to be busy, but this is different than before. And you're different than before. And then I think, where does this even come from? And then, there it is. It comes back to the trauma of losing my husband. You see, August, the end of August, the last day of August, is my late husband's birthday. The first day of September is my birthday. And then we hit October, which is when he passed away. Last year, this time of year, I was starting to get really deeply entrapped. I don't think that's a word. Entrapped. Let's try that. In grief. I was just getting wound up in it. I didn't even realize how wound up I was in it, to the point that my anxiety was so bad that I was physically scared for no reason. Multiple times. I had not had levels of anxiety and sadness and grief that intense since that first year after my husband had passed away. And it was debilitating. And it was even extra debilitating because I was running and not resting. So I start thinking about that. And then I think about where I'm at right now. And I realize this is tied, even though I don't want it to be, partly, at least, I'm sure there's other factors in there, partly at least to when I lost my husband. Because, here's August, and it's back to school time. He was going back to school when he died. It was his first semester back. I was teaching my first semester. Yep. There's his birthday, then there's my birthday. I used to love my birthday. Now my birthday is just this tortured balance of grief and gratitude. And yeah, I don't really know how else to describe it, but there's that. And then it's October, when everything in my world completely changed. So I have been fighting grief. And this thing about grief is, grief can be so nasty, and it can, just like any form of pain, blind us to the truth. In Shine, I talk about, grief is a really nasty thing because it lies to us and it brings up every possible pain we've ever experienced and makes us look at it. But not only that, it lies to us because that pain is so hurtful and heavy, and it just starts to lie to us that this is our life, this is our existence, nothing good will ever happen to us. We have no hope. That's not true. It's not true at all. When we hurt, that's when we have to enact that virtue of hope. Because see, hope is not a passive virtue. Hope is not passive at all. Hope requires action. Having hope doesn't mean that we don't hurt for the things that we've lost. It doesn't mean that we don't hurt for whatever the situation is in front of us. But what hope does is it reminds us of so many things, but it reminds us that we're not done yet. It reminds us that, yeah, there's going to be tough stuff in life, but there's going to be good stuff too. Don't fall into the vice of despair, which is hope's counterpart. Like, the opposite of hope is despair. And I've lived in despair, and despair is terrible. And I think the reason that despair hurts so much is because we spiritually know inside of us that despair is not true. And when we have things that are not true in our lives, it affects us differently. And it causes us to experience hurt in a different level. Because we know it's not true. Don't get me wrong. There are things that we hope for. Outcomes, when they don't work out the way we want to, it's easy for us to lose hope in that situation. There are some things that will not be meant to be. And we have to find peace with that. And that's hard. Maybe we're looking at hope wrong. Because I know I was. I was looking at hope that whatever it is that I wanted in my life was going to come in this certain package at this certain time. And if it didn't come at that certain package in that certain time, then it was my fault. It was all my fault. There's so many lessons in that. Pride, perfectionism, all of these things, right? But that's not true. And as life has taught me, sometimes I think that the things that we really think we want aren't right for us. But that doesn't mean we have to lose hope, because hope, we can have hope when it hurts. Because hope is in better days. Hope is that those deep promises that have been placed in our hearts will come to pass. Hope is that the things that we feel so deeply in our hearts, that if that's God's plan for us, nothing will stop it. Hope is remembering that if we are alive and breathing, we are loved. And love wills the good of the other. And because we are loved, and because God loves us, and He does, no matter what you've done in your life, God still loves you. Because we are loved, we have hope. Hope is that joyful anticipation of something good in the future. When you're living in that moment of goodness, you don't need hope anymore because you're living it, right? You're living the experience. We need hope when it's dark and it hurts. So we get to make the choice to have hope. For me, The only hope that I can have that I know will not disappoint me is my hope in God. Hope in His plan for me. Hope that I will be exactly in the places that I need to be at when I need to be there. And sometimes those places won't be pleasant, but sometimes they will. Sometimes those places will be more than anything I've ever dreamed of and come in packages that I never anticipated they could come in. Hope is not giving up on our future. Hope is realizing that while I can hurt today and be sad over many things, whether we've lost someone we love, we've lost a relationship, we've lost a job, we've lost whatever your dream is, that we can keep hoping and we can keep dreaming. Our hope is in God. He alone. He's not going to abandon us. And I will tell you, last year I felt abandoned. I felt like a lost child. I felt, keyword, I felt like I didn't matter to Him. I felt like I was doing everything wrong when I was trying to do everything right. I felt like everything I ever wanted would never be a part of my life. I felt like I was forgotten. That wasn't true. It wasn't true at all. You see, sometimes we don't get answers when we ask for them. Sometimes we don't get the answer we asked for and we get a special grace. Like yesterday, when I got the special grace of a message from someone that I don't see on a regular basis. Not that I would with Rona right now, but someone I don't see a lot. And I got a message and it was exactly what I needed. It was a reminder that I am loved and not forgotten. And that person had no idea that I was hurting. They had no idea that I was stressed and overwhelmed. See, God always hears us. Sometimes He answers us and we don't like the answer. Sometimes we hear silence and we don't like that either. But that doesn't mean He doesn't hear us, and that certainly doesn't mean He's left us. One thing I know for certain, every single breath I take is not taken alone because He is with me and He is with you. It's hard to live above your feelings. At least for me it is. It is a skill that I have willfully and intentionally continued to work at, and I think counseling for that too. But you see, hope is never lost. Hope is always there. Sometimes our pain blinds us and we can't see it. But it's there because God's always there. And He's our hope. He's especially our hope when we hurt. He's especially our hope when we have no idea how anything's going to get better. He's there. And He loves you. And it's hard to hope when you hurt. It's hard to hope when every dream you've had, when everything you've built falls down around you. It's hard to hope. But you're built for it. You can do it. And if you're like me, one of the ways you've remembered to not give up hope is you buy all the things that say hope on it. Or you name your car Hope when you're feeling hopeless. Not a lie. there is hope. Things may not look the way you expected them to. They may not work out the exact way in the exact time that you wanted them to. But there is hope. And for those people that we've lost to death, there is hope for them too. There is hope. There is hope that one day we will be together again. So, even death can't conquer hope. Because Jesus conquered death. And He is our hope. So, I hope this helped you some. If anything, just to remind you that you're not alone. We all get stressed out. We all get overwhelmed. We all have times where we feel hopeless. But we are not just our feelings. We are so much more than that. There's hope. Always and forever, there is hope. So, for me, right now, it's time for me to get off here, get some homework done, get some work done. So, hopefully, this helped you. And don't worry, we can talk about hope for a long time because I got lots of stories. I'll save them for another day because this video is already long. So, take care of yourself. Breathe. Remember you're loved. You're worthy. No matter what kind of lies your head's telling you, your feelings are telling you, there is always hope. If you are breathing, there is hope. All right, guys. Well, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Weekend is upon us. All the things. And hopefully, I will see you on the flip side. Later.